Gumiho is by far the most entertaining Terran. I can get behind that. I think I can get behind that. I think maybe an easier claim to say is that he's maybe the most diverse Terran, which makes him very entertaining, 100%. But here we go. We're getting into our next series. We're getting into our next matchup, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of a tokamak, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Team Liquid. It is Cure. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Virtus Pro. It is Classic. Here we go. And again, Gumiho, he definitely had a certain style to him in that previous series, but once again, Cure, he is not that kind of player. I don't expect to see a 2-on-1, or as we had to lay the gas. Let's go. Classic, calm down. Does lay the gas, but I don't expect to see a 2-on-1. I don't expect to see a 1-base all-in. I don't expect to see mech, but what I do expect are 2-base all-ins. If you were watching the group stage and even the qualifying matches as well, Cure, he was so aggressive, and he went for non-stop 2-base all-ins in his previous series in the group stage. Now, just because he did it almost every, if not every game in the group stage, I don't expect him to all-in every game here, but I expect it to be kind of sprinkled out throughout the series. Maybe, you know, a couple of games here and there to see him double down and be hyper aggressive. Here we're loading into Tokamak. This is a larger map in the map pool. This is a more defensive map as well. I don't like the idea of a 2-base all-in on Tokamak, but we'll see. For now, double gas, and delayed double gas because of the, of course, probe. For those that are curious, because the model of the probe is a little bit larger, you actually can't make a refinery if a enemy unit is next to it. So that probe was just being as annoying as possible, delays the factory, oh sorry, the refinery. And again, double gas into a faster factory. So delayed CC out of Cure. Now, when we saw this out of Gumiho, this led into early tank production. This led into Macfield accelerators, into 1-base all-ins. Here, this can lead into an early tank drop. This can lead into reactor to Reaper Hellion. There are a couple of different ways that Cure can go about this. Here we go. As Akira does move out. Meanwhile, Twilight Council on the way. We have a take-up choice from Classic. Going for the Twilight Council. Meanwhile, there's that 1-1-1 setup out of Cure. Tech lab on the factory. And do we set up for an add-on swap? We'll see after the first Cyclone. Assuming that we go Cyclone first. Yeah, Cyclone's on the way. He does threaten a dive. As Reaper gets full scatter information, so Cure, he's fully aware of the tech of choice, he's fully aware of the Twilight Council. He's aware of Blink. One probe goes down, but the Reaper gets shut down. Not bad. Meanwhile, yep, add-on swap, so Cyclone into add-on swap into, I would imagine, Banshee play. There it is, Cloak Banshee. And again, this build has been very trendy, has been very popular, especially from the Korean Terrans for the past year at this point. So players like Byeon, Maru, Bunny, Cure, they'll do like to sprinkle it in. We did see kind of Cloak Banshee from Gumiho, but if you remember, it was mixed in with Cyclone. Here, it's going to be Fire out of Cure. And this can be quite difficult to deal with, especially if it goes unscattered. Classic is yet to confirm, but we should be seeing a hallucination soon out of our Protoss. As he throws down 2 extra gateways. So 3-gate blink out of Classic, gases are being taken, going for the faster Robo, going for a delayed third. If you remember, this is the same build that Hero went for last game on Torches. So delayed third base, extra warp pins, extra stalkers, and a Robo first. Now with this Hero, he was of course hyper aggressive. He moved out and he was applying a lot of pressure to the natural. We'll see if Classic does the same or if he expands instead. As the hallucination is moving in, does go the long way around. And it does confirm the Raven. Wait. Oh, my apologies. Banshee does get across the map. It was only a single Banshee, not two. But last classic, he does keep up. He's aware. And he doesn't take any damage. Not bad. But he does, or he's forced to make nothing but observers. So no Warp Prism, no counterattack. He's going to charge. Classic is going to have a later base and is playing safer, more defensively. 2 more gates. Hold up. He's throwing down, he's getting up to 5 gateways on 2 bases. No expansion. Okay, finally the 3rd base is being taken. But this is a very late 3rd out of Classic. Okay. Now, something that I mentioned previously is that we saw nothing but 2 base all-ins out of Cure. And I'm sure Classic also saw that as well. So this is just really safe play, extra gateways, even more gateways on the way, charge into Templar Archives, late 3rd base. It's not an all-in out of Classic, just again, late expansions. And we'll see how hard Cure commits. We'll see if Classic has read this well. The way that Classic is playing this, it feels like he's expecting an all-in. But now he's moving out. Is moving out. Storm is on the way. So here, Classic picking away at the Marines. Not bad. Gets 1, 2, 3 Marines. Shaving off the army. Pulls away. Behind this, still no 3rd command center for Cure. Black West still only on 3 Raxes. Still only on 3. Getting into Concussive Shell. +1 is finishing. Bearing in mind there's only 1 eBay. That is a sign of aggression that you're not going for double eBay. But there it is. 3rd TC is now being thrown down. So Cure is expanding. Is expanding. Again, Classic, he never got a full scout of the main, so it does look like Classic was just playing scared. And this means that he doesn't have the economic lead that he otherwise could have had. His probe count is decent, but he hasn't been mining for this much as long. Oh, Army gets spotted. Classic, he rotates, he responds. Storm is done, so Classic, he should be fine. Takes down the Raven. Takes on the Raven. Storm does zone. We have what? 3 more Storms. Oof. Here comes another. And another. And again, Classic, he should be fine here. Cure, he doesn't commit. He does preserve his Marauders. As there are still plenty of Storms. Oof. I showed them the Zealots. Classic does hold it. Again, Cure, he had no intention of breaking Classic. Just poking in, trading. He does preserve all his Marauders. He pulls away. Meanwhile, more Raxes, Ghost Academy, and of course, Cure is building up towards the mid-game. And again, this is a dynamic that we didn't really see last series. The one macro game that we got was Gumiho playing Mech, of course. That was the only one, really. Game 1 on Magnatha got up to 3 bases, but even that was a little bit different. So again, Cure having a much more standard approach. Well, Classic going for his own counterattack. Loving the pre-spread here by Cure. Well, Storm jump into the mineral line. Oh, never mind. Going for the main army. But Cure, he's ready for the Storms. And he is ready. Does kite back. Spreads well. Deals with the Zealots. And the Storms are getting minimal damage. Minimal trades. Yeah, collapsing on connecting with 2 Marauders at a time. And now we stim in. And Cure, he holds. He shuts us down. He takes down the Prism. Oh my god. Prism goes down. High Templar as well. And Classic here overextended. He lost everything. Yeah. He lost 5 High Templar, 2 Archons. The Prism, the Stalkers. Cure with a very strong fight. And again, there was nothing pressuring Classic to push into that. I mean, sure, Classic economically, he wasn't looking ideal. But Classic, he was punished, and now he's vulnerable. Cure is going for a massive counterattack. The Marauders, they survive. We have Ghosts, we have EMPs. Cure, he's rallying in. And Classic is not ready for this. He does have a Storm. Oh, brutal EMP. Brutal EMP. Oh, very nice Storm, though. Oh my god. Storm does connect. He's got more where that came from. He scans. Here come the EMPs. Oh. Colossus has arrived. Oh, Kira, calm down. Almost kills his own Marauder. More Zealot Warpins. And Classic is holding. Yeah, Classic is holding on. Now he's got the Colossus. Now he's got the Charge Lots. EMP does pop off. The Medevac's there completely out of energy. But Kira, that doesn't stop him. that does not stop him. Going for the Doom Drop. 3 Medvacs into the main. Trying to pull Classic apart. Oh, EMP connects. No Storm. He has 0 Storms. Classic has to respond with the Colossus. Kira comes back in. Does rotate back over towards the 3rd, towards the 4th even. Once again, EMP's moving in. EMP's are Stalkers. EMP's are Colossus. There's still a Storm left over. But it doesn't quite connect. And that was the only Storm. Yeah, the only one. The Colossus are getting low. Here, can he break through? There's no more Zealots. The boys are being pulled. Classic getting desperate, and the Colossus are going down. One of them falls. There's one left. And Classic, he is holding. He's barely holding on, but at a cost of 10 probes. The Colossus, the High Templar. As he barely forces back the army. Classic, he's holding. Behind this, making 2 Colossus at a time. He has to reestablish his 4th base. Kira getting his own 4th. 4th CC is on the way. Whew. But Classic, he survives. He does. It was not easy. Not easy. He lost a lot of Stalkers, a lot of High Templar in the process. He even lost a Colossus. It was not an easy hold, but Classic is surviving. And he needs a 5th. He needs that 5th base. Likewise, needs time to breathe. Kira building up his own Viking count. Getting to 2-2 upgrades. Disruptor's now on the way. But still very tense. You see Classic getting ready for a Zealot run by. Likewise, his main army pushes in on the right hand side. Now this should only be to distract. Like Classic, he has no intention of committing. So he pokes in, pulls away. Does pull away as he distracts. Here come the Zealots. They will clean up 3 Winter Mines, but they do not get into the mineral line. Oh, they don't get that final mine. Oh, just barely do. So Classic pulls away. Pulls away. 2nd starport's just now done. Doubling down on Vikings, and from here can go into Liberators. Now, when it comes to Classic's army, it's still lacking, but as he builds up his Disruptor count, there's so much potential there. You could be down 20, 30 supply, and with a couple of well-placed Novas, you can make up for that. So there's just going to be so much riding on these Purification Novas. As Curie rotates on the right-hand side. Classic trying to keep up. So they'll storm here in the mineral line. But only 3 SCVs. There was potential. Doesn't quite get it. That means no storm to defend, or at least minimal storms. Nova zones. As Curie does that position, Classic, he's going for the base. The base is going to go down. There is no 5th. Classic falling behind. Classic, he's got 90 probes, but his long distance mining. He needs a base. He needs an expansion. Curie, he sees all those probes. Tempting. Tempting pattern. As Curie is at his ideal economy. 66 workers, 4 bases, 5th base now on the way. The 5th base for Curie is on par with the 5th base of Classic. Which is terrifying. Again, the Protoss does need to be up in expansion. You know how many disruptors? He's got 5. 5 disruptors so far. Classic moving in. And the armies, they just completely pass by each other. Classic out of position. And Storm tries to zone. Classic is racing on over. But Curie's already here. Oh. Catching out the army. Never goes off. Oh! Massive connection. Does take down 2 ghosts. Another connection towards the end. But the Vikings, they go to town. They shut down every single Colossus. Yeah, Colossus are falling one after the other. No more disruptors. Storm is coming in. But a messy fight for Classic. Some decent Novas to begin. But the rest of the army out of position. Now no more splash damage. No more Colossus. No Storm. No nothing. And Kira, he can stim. And he can win. Does break through. Stalkers are so exposed. Even the Vikings land. With these Zealot reinforcements, Classic can barely hold on here. Should hold. Does force to pick up. Ooh, takes down a full medevac. Nicely done. But Classic, he's hurting. Even though, on the one hand, Classic, he survives. True, the supplies are close. That is also true. But Classic lost all his Colossus. He lost 4 Colossus and I want to say 6 Disruptors. It was, sorry, 5. 5 Disruptors and 4 Colossus. It takes a long time to rebuild. We're only making 2 Disruptors at a time, so the splash damage here for Classic is very limited. He doesn't have a 3rd Robo. So it's going to take even longer for Classic to rebuild. And to replenish. Classic is vulnerable. The soup does lie. This is a very cheap army for Classic. It's very Zealot heavy. It's very Zealot heavy here. Novas, they connect with Marines. Another Nova grazes the Marauders. Gets a Ghost. Ooh, nice punish with the Storms. Nicely done. Storms, they pop off. Classic, he's maxed out. He's maxed out with mainly Zealot and Stalker. Going for the Planetary. Planetary goes down. Not bad. Now moving in. But again, I'm mainly concerned with how this army scales or how it doesn't scale into a longer game. Classic taking more bases, taking more expansions. Curious catching up in supply. Brutally MPs, the Zealots, they just melt. You can see how little these Zealots do in a main fight. At the same time, Liberation has arrived. Catching up probes. 9, 10 probes going down. Curie's moving in. Oh. Does push forward. Oh. Never going up, grazing the army. No major connection. Storm zones, doesn't connect. Oh, there goes. Gets 2. Takes out 2 ghosts, there's 3 ghosts left. They still do remain. And we're running out of disruptors, running out of Novas. Storm is okay, but the base is going to go down. Again, Classic, he just cannot engage. As another Nexus falls. Classic does have bases to spare, true. But the army is still lacking. Meanwhile, medevacs are out of energy. Oh. Destroys those minerals. Meanwhile, Classic built up to 6 disruptors. Rotates towards the south side. Once again, going full planetary, brutally MPs. Novas have arrived. Get a Ghost. It's going to be 3 Novas, there's 3 left. Secure just trying to defend with a bare minimum. He splits up his army. He's hoping to lure Classic in. So far, still very tense. We haven't made the full switch into Liberators yet from Cure. Just stick with the bio composition. Never goes up. And nice splits out of Cure. Yeah, he splits well. The Novas are not connecting. Oh, that was what, 4 Novas. Now that's 5. Storm does help. But Curie's moving in. Nice snipe. Takes down the High Templar. You see Classic trying to chase Cure down. This isn't really the army built for that sort of thing. That's knocking down more bases. Like, Classic still stuck with this Gateway army. Unfortunately, he just has no bank. Like, he has mining, yes, but he has mainly minerals, no gas. He can't switch into Sky Toss. He can't throw down a third Robo. Another base is falling. They do trade a base for a base. 16 SCV kills. Cure down to 38 SCVs. But he has mules, papi. True. That's all he needs. As more bases are going down. He gets 3 Nexi. The golds. Linear third. The 4th base. Now top left. Catching more bases. Now, Classic, he can still win this though. He can still win a fight. He has 10 disruptors. Okay, that's a lot of Novas. That's a lot of balls. If they connect well, Classic, he can pull this off. Speaking of Novas, up. They will connect. Oh, barely not. Oh my god. The target firing at a Q. Oh my, he takes out almost every single disruptor. That was what, 8 disruptors going down. 1 Nova connected. That was crazy. The Novas did not connect whatsoever. That was insane target firing. You can see the supply plummet for Classic. He plummets 50 supply. And you can see how poorly this army for Classic scales. This is why we did mention the soup does lie. Like, both armies are max, but one is not quite like the other. That's a kill, not a cancel. And Classic, he has nothing left. He has nothing left. Curie snowballs out of control. Again, it's just purely gateway units out of Classic. That's all he has. That's all he can rely upon. The game was almost determined when Classic lost all of his Colossus, if you recall, like 10 minutes ago. And he just hasn't recovered since then. It's just been on a knife's edge since that moment for Classic. And yeah, it has gone in favor of Cure, taking down more bases, more expansions. Classic is starving out. And now he's forced to fight, and he has to fight without disruptors. Novas are coming from behind, but now it's just purely Zealot, purely Stalker. Gets on top of the Ghost, though. Ghosts aren't going down. Boys are being pulled. Oh, jeez, the kiting is brutal. Yeah, nice kiting here by Cure. Takes down the Zealots, takes down 31 probes. And Cure is being cleaned up, but remember, Cure, he can afford these trades. As he's rebuilding back at home. Oh. Losing medevacs. These are expensive losses, though. Losing those medevacs. And Classic is all in. Classic, this is the mining that he has. He has 1 probe here at the linear third. Here at the triangular third base, he's got half a base. Meanwhile, Cure, he has a fully fresh mining base here top left. Assuming he can hold on to it. And he can. Oh, disruptors though. Flanking disruptors come in. They do not connect. And Curie shuts down the army. Classic, he cannot fight head on like this, as he will lose everything. The Zealots, the Stalkers. And again, yeah, Classic did his best to recover, but GG gets called. Cure, he will take game number 1. Whew, GG. Cure does take lead in the series. Again, a very intense back and forth, and this is the game that we never got from Gumiho, right? Gumiho, we had hyper aggression, some quirky builds. Here, much more standard play out of Cure. I would say that Classic, it did feel like he got into his own head a little bit. If you remember, Classic, he had a really rough start to the game just because he was being hyper defensive and hyper safe, delaying his bases, delaying his third base, delaying his 4th base, staying on a low base count for longer, building up an army, and getting ready for an assault that never really came, that never really arrived. So it did feel like a misread out of Classic at the start of the game, and we didn't mention it, both armies had maxed out, but the fight that really swung everything in favor of Cure and gave him momentum, and he never let go of it, was that fight where Classic lost 5 Disruptors and 4 Colossus. There was that fight outside of his triangular third base where he did commit in. He lost everything to the Vikings, everything to the Bio Army as well. If you remember, we spoke about it, how Classic, he survived that. The supplies were neck and neck, but Classic, his entire Robo army got reset, and he never recovered from there. It took him so long because he only had 2 robos, he didn't have many gases, he didn't have a good economy behind it either, so he didn't have that advantage that you otherwise would have in this matchup. And it was just playing catch up, from there. Towards the end, there was that one final battle where he was able to build up to 10 Disruptors, which meant that he had potential, but we saw that only 1 Nova connected. It was crazy, the target firing at a Cure, as he denied every single Disruptor, every single Nova. It was insane. GG well played with that. Cure takes game 1. Now we're getting into game number 2. Let's go. Let us go. And again, it did feel like Classic, he was just maybe overthinking, maybe playing a little bit too scared, not too confident. And we'll see if he can adjust coming into game 2. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Maganatha, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Team Liquid. It is Cure. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player representing Virtus Pro. It is Classic. Here we go. So we are building up. We are settling in. And already we have Classic checking for proxies. Also, welcome to Maganatha. Maganatha is the largest map in the map pool. Don't get larger than Maganatha, so we do expect longer macro games on this map. We just had one on Tokamak, and I feel like when it comes to maps that we would expect to see longer games, at the top of the list, Maganatha and Tokamak. Those are the top 2 maps here for longer macro games. As the base count is quite high, the rush distance by ground is quite long. But Cure once again opens up double gas opener out of Cure. Now, as a reminder, it happened half an hour ago at this point, but at the beginning of the last game, Cure, he did go for a double gas opener. This led into Cloak Banshee, if you recall, which didn't really do that much damage. He led into, I want to say, only 1 Cloak Banshee as well. He went Banshee into Raven, and he was able to keep Classic busy. Likewise, Classic did Scout to the double gas opener, does do it again. Does also confirm, and Classic Cure reacted. Again, he was playing like he was expecting a 2-base all-in, when Cure was just expanding. He was just chilling on 2 bases, he got his 3rd CC, he built up, he was only on 3 Raxes. Now, I do expect Cure to 2-base all-in at some point in this series, but not yet. Not yet, not so far. Now does move out, checks for proxies. Moving out across the map, standard opener here by Classic. As we are building up. Oh, Classic did go Zealot first. Okay. Bit of a cheeky move here. The goal of this first Zealot is to try to delay the economy. Meanwhile, we have Reaper Hellion initially here by Cure, so he has units early on. Now going for the Zealot. Zealot tries to delay. And we'll get a swipe off, and he does delay the CC by a couple of seconds, but does not kill the SCV. Likewise, Adept is spotted. And so far, Cure's keeping up. He is keeping up. Meanwhile, I mean, I spoke about Classic expecting aggression out of Cure last game. Do you see what I see? I see 3 gates on the way. 4 Gate-Bling Stalker. This is a rare sight nowadays. Again, this was very trendy a year ago, especially from Max. He was in love with 4 Gate-Bling Stalker, like especially circa 2023 coming into 2024. But this build has fallen by the wayside just because it was so common and so prevalent, and players, they got so used to shutting it down. Meanwhile, behind this, we do have our eventual 3-1-1 setup. Attack up is on the way for the tanks. And what do we see here? Actually, my apologies. This fourth gateway might just be to wall. Okay. Just because of the Hellions. So I believe Classic is going to be canceling that gate. So Classic just being very safe, very secure. And yeah, there's a cancel. So he does cancel. Meanwhile, Hellion drop into the natural. Oh, he can two-shot probes. He can two-shot. He gets one probe so far. Oh, gets a sentry, not bad. And drops further into the main. I was so excited about the 4-gate blink. But never mind. So far, this is the same build 2 games in a row. As you can see here, Classic, he stays even longer on 2 bases. He gets gases, he gets a robo, he delays his third. We saw that this was just hyper safe play last game on Tokamak, and we're seeing it again here on Maganatha. And this is hurting Classic. My apologies. Do you see what I see? Early stim. We are rushing into stim very early on here by Cure. We spoke earlier how last game it felt like Classic was like blindly getting ready for a 2-base all-in that never arrived. Once again, Jesus, like he's doing it again. He throws down 3 extra gateways on 2 bases before expanding. Meanwhile, Cure rushing into stim real fast and real quick, also building up 2 bases as well. And coming into this, I think I favor Classic here. Like, this is going to be a little bit better for him, as he's going to be focusing on an army and focusing on charge. Charge is on the way. Classic is moving out. Here comes the move out. Cure, this is going to be very committed on 2 bases. Yep, he does pull the boys. Yeah, 2-base all in. You could hear me stop myself from calling it a 2-base all in because I didn't see extra Raxes, but yeah, 2-base all in out of Cure. Does move out. And I do think that Classic should be getting ready for... I mean, he should be relatively set up for this. Trying to slow this down. It's on Classic to buy time. I think I said Cure. But yeah, Classic should be ready for this. Warping in more Stalkers. He needs more time for the charge, though. Charge is still on the way. Picks away a couple of SCVs. A couple of workers going down. Here he's pushing in. Gateways are finishing up. He's supply blocked. No, he's supply blocked. Classic. He needs pylons. Pylons are finishing up. Breaks out of the supply block. Here we go, warping in 6 outs at a time. But he needs charge. Bunkers are setting up. Stalkers are trying to catch reinforcements, and they will. And Marines are going down, but he doesn't get the tank. Tank does survive. Charge is almost done. He needs a couple more seconds. Needs a few more seconds here. As we're 5 seconds away. Pylon is under fire. Stalkers are still catching reinforcements. But now with the 3 tanks. And the Robo gets depowered. Massive pickoff. Yeah, the Robo's going to go down. Denies the second Immortal. This is going to be a tough hold for Classic. He's going in. Comes in for this round. He gets 1 tank. He gets 1. He gets 2. And he's trying to get the final tank as well. But this is a rough trade. The Archon gets stuck. Yeah, and Curie's done it. Cure, he has done it. He breaks on through. Classic, he barely didn't have enough. Again, with an extra Immortal, that may be enough to break him. But Curie stims in. He stims in. He gets into the mineral line. GG gets called. Cure, he overwhelms. And Curie takes a 2-0 lead. GG. Whew. GG, well played. That is a concerning game. So again, Cure, he doubled down, he went for a 2-base all-in. As I mentioned, Classic, it felt like he was almost blindly getting ready for a 2-base all-in. Almost blindly. We spoke about this during the Hero game, where to defend Hero, he went for charge over Blink. He went for a charge opener instead to shut down Gumiho. To be fair, that was against a 1-base all-in, but here charge was just a couple seconds too late for Classic. Also unfortunate that he wasn't able to catch that 3rd tank. If you remember, when he was catching reinforcements, he missed that 3rd tank, so that would have been huge if he could snipe that tank and slow it down and slow down his opponent. Likewise, if that 2nd Immortal finished as well, I mean, that would have been a massive way to deal with the 2nd tank that much faster as well. Like, everything would have been different if he had caught a tank, if he had finished the Robo, or finished the Immortal, if he had gotten charged a little bit sooner as well. Like, it was very close and very clutch. And for Classic to lose this game, especially on Maganatha, that is concerning here, considering this build and what it's meant to achieve. So GG, well played. Cure, he pulls off the all-in regardless of classic setup, and Cure is up to 0-1 game away from claiming the series. Let's go. We're getting into game 3, and we'll see if Classic does shift gears. Fun fact, this build that we've seen from Classic, he's done the same build 2 games in a row. Just very 2-base heavy. And even against the 2-base all-in, it doesn't quite pay off. But here we go. Here we go. We're now getting into game number 3. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Team Liquid, leading the series 2-0, 1 game away from advancing on to the grand finals. It is a Cure. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Virtus Pro. It is Classic. Here we go. So we are going to be settling in. And at this point, my eyes are going to be on Classic here. Again, he has gone a 3-gate blink into 5-gate charge on 2 bases twice now. And it hasn't really been paying off. It hasn't worked in a longer macro game. Hasn't worked in a shorter all-in game either. So we'll see how Classic and pieces hold together. Likewise, Cure, for the first time, only 1 gas. Let's go. Game 1 and Game 2, we saw Cure go double gas as an opener into a faster factory. This time he's going for a faster CC. So Cure, he does shift gears completely into something more economic. Classic does poke in. Does poke in. He does delay the CC for a moment here as the CC now has to lift and land, and that will delay by a couple of seconds. But overall, it is still on the way. Meanwhile, Cure going Marine first. He skips the Reaper. Likewise, does skip the SCV Scout as well. And we're just building up. And again, the all-in that we saw last game was really interesting as well, just rushing into early stim. Usually we see like a prioritization of tanks to build up to like 3 or 4 tanks and only have Marines to buffer, but instead Cure, his Marines were almost the damage dealers there. It's very different, much more unique, something that I don't see as much or as often. That specific 2-base all-in. As from here, Twilight Council opener out of Classic. Cure going for a 1-1-1, and this time going into Reactored Hellion. Now this could be for an extra pair of Hellions to go for a Hellion drop or a Hellion aggression, or we could see 2 Hellions into 2 Widowmines into a Widowmine drop instead. And we haven't seen a Widowmine drop play at all this entire broadcast, either from Cure or from Gumiho. Just has not happened yet. Yep, meanwhile we're seeing it here. A much more standard game. This is the most standard play that we've seen from a Terran player this entire night. Opening up Rax Expand into Widowmine drop. Let's go. So much more passive start out of Cure. Again, much more economic. And I'm sure Classic is going to be so much more comfortable here. Back at home, 3-gate blink out of Classic. I don't see any gases yet, so we might see Classic go for a faster 3rd base before his gases, before his robo. Secure is moving out. Let's go. This Quad Mine Drop. The Quad Mine Drop towards the main. Classic back at home is securing himself. And yeah, it looks like he is taking his gas at the natural. Never mind. Probe gets hunted down. Mine drop towards the main. Classic, he is still in position though. As he warps in extra stalkers. Widowmine is there forced to drop. 1 medevac falls. And does nice some mining. Getting 3 probe kills. It's okay damage. It's nice mining time more than anything. As Curie tries to get more damage. There's still 1 Widowmine left. And I'm hoping the Classic does know that. I hope he is aware. As back now we have bunkers being thrown down. Widowmine does scuttle in. Gets 1 more probe. And Classic does expand. Now, referring to standard play, Cure, again, Widowmine drop opener into bunkers and tanks to defend on 2 bases, building up towards the mid game. Meanwhile, Classic, instead of going for a Robo, he does go for the Nexus before Robo, does go for a later Gas Geyser. This is much more economic by Classic. So both players being more economic. Classic is playing safe with his Stalkers, now going into charge, +1, into delayed Colossus production. Like, this is like more standard meta PvT. And this is the only standard game that we've seen, again, so far tonight. Yeah, the only one. But that's what this is. As the Raven moves in. Oh. Catching out a Stalker. Likewise, there's that gateway explosion. Again, it's a little more common nowadays. I should talk about that. In the past, it used to be more common to go Blink Stalker into splash damage, into Colossus. But here, it's been more common to go into charge as a follow-up. It's just safer. Considering how much 2-base play there's been from the side of Terran, charge is a good way to punish that kind of 2-base all-in style or 2-base aggression. So this does allow Classic to be safe. It also punishes aggression as well with run-bys and counterattacks with charge drops or Zealot run-bys. And then this leads into either Storm or Colossus, whichever the Protoss does prefer. And we have the answer, Colossus. Bay's on the way for the Colossus production. Meanwhile, Curie getting a 3rd TC. And Curie's contained on 2 bases until he does finish Stim. Stim is now done. Now he can break out and expand. Speaking of breaking out, he does go for a double drop. Ooh. Trying to find those Stalkers. Okay. You have my attention. Basically, Curie's trying to bait the Stalkers, trying to bait out a Blink. Curie coming in on the right-hand side. And the flank is set up. But he doesn't force any Blinks. Yeah, Classic, he pulls away. I think he saw the medevac. Classic, he doesn't take the bait. See, Curie's still hunting for him. Tanks are exposed. Gets 1. Does catch tank. Nice catch here from Classic. Curie rotating over. Oh, a bit of a miss. Classic, calm down. Does snipe his own Stalker. Oh, send the tower. Oh no! Okay, Senju does survive. As Curie breaks out, remember behind this he's expanding, getting his 3rd base fully operational. Curie will get a pylon. Classic moving in. He's trying to. Meanwhile, as Curie pushes, we do see Classic punish with that Zealot Rumba. We spoke about this at the start of the game. This is the advantage here of going into charge that much faster. Is these Zealot Rumbas. Not going for the SCVs, but going for the production. Okay. Doesn't really achieve too much. As he's going to run into the main army. Uh-oh. And that's target firing there out of a Cure. Meanwhile, as Zealots, there we go, they do hit the 3rd. 10 SCVs, 11, 12. Oh my god, 11 SCVs go down. Nice run by. Again, this shows the strength here of delaying Colossus. It does mean that your main army is a little bit weaker because your splash damage is delayed, but you have so much counterattack potential as we're getting ready for another Zealot run by. And you're just punishing the Terran player for being active. You're punishing Cure for moving out. Mine shots are being baited. Celts move in. They deny more mining. Meanwhile, more Zealot Warpins, more run-bys. And Classic gets a 4th. Again, just keeping Kure busy. This Observer just tells him every single time Kure moves out. As he moves out, Zelte move in once again. Oh, let's rewind so. Mine shots, they don't quite fully connect. They get cleaned up. And Kure, he's not turning around. He's not turning around. Kure's had enough. He's pushing. Meanwhile, their Colossus waiting, Nova goes up. Grazes the army. Nothing major yet. As Kure stemming in. Barely out of range of the base. Dropping into the main instead. And there's not much in the main. Classic out of position. He's trying to respond. Job going for the Bay. The Bay is going to go down. At the same time, Zelte do catch reinforcements. But Kure's not stopping. And can he pull Classic apart here? Yeah, again, the mineral line probes are falling. The base as well. Yeah, Classic just cannot keep up. 11 probe kills. And the expansion. Ay, ay, ay. Classic losing far too much. Behind this now, he has preserved his army. That is true. Like, the main army for Classic is still quite competitive. But the base, the economy is hurting. As he loses the base, losing mineral line. Kure scans looking for another base. He's content seeing that there is none. Happy to see there is no Nexus. Classic coming in from behind. Oh. Now, what does Classic have? He has 2 Colossus and 2 Disruptors, and mainly a Zealot composition. Now, we spoke how this heavy Zealot composition struggled last time we saw this on Tokamak, but that was only in a longer game state where Kure had Ghost and they had 3-3. Here he's still working on 2-2. We do have a second Robo, and the Bay has to be rebuilt. Ay, ay, ay. Kure, he's maxed out. And Kure, he can take a fight. He has to use this army. He's got 42 Marines, 24 Marauders, a couple of Vikings, not too many. But he's trying to keep up with the army of Classic. Classic doing a great job of just distracting, at buying time. As Kure, despite maxing out for the past minutes, he's been kind of posturing at home. Once again, as he moves out, Classic hits the natural. SCV is going down. Likewise, collapsing here on the 3rd. Getting on top of the tank. The tank also gets picked up. Not bad. And Kure, he's just being delayed. He wants to move out. He wants to push. But time and time again, 11 SCVs do fall. And now he breaks out with only half his army. Uh-oh. And this is a fight that Classic can take. It's only half. Vikings are going down. Gets 1, gets 2 Vikings. Medevacs is still pinned behind the base. And Classic, he was in a rough position. He lost an expansion. He lost 11 pros, but Classic, he's back. He has recovered. It also helps that, again, he didn't lose any of his high-tech units. Like, he was mainly losing his economy, but now he's replenished that economy. His main army is still stable. This Classic is moving in. Oh! My shot on the sentries. Nice connection. But last Kure, he's completely out of position. He's racing on over. The mineral line is exposed. Losing 13 SCVs. And Classic, he doesn't overcommit. Takes down the mineral line and then backs off. I say that. Classic moving back in. He sees an opening. Kure retreats. Classic kills the CC. Massive pickup. My center goes down. And suddenly, Kure's all in. He lost the base. He lost the mineral line. He's down to 46 SCVs. Mules are good, but they're not that good. Uh-oh. I mean, he still has a massive army. He still has a lot of ghosts. He still has a lot of EMPs. He gets spotted by the Observer. Observer gets sniped. Neva's going to be going up. Up! Neva's they take down a ghost. Not bad. One Ghost goes down. There's 8 Vikings. Vikings don't know where they need to be. They need to turn away the Colossus. Now moving in, and Classic going for the base trade. Just gives up the base, gives up the expansion. Nexus goes down. And Classic is committing. And Cure, he responds, he races back home. Uh-oh. Remember, Classic can always recall. He can always recall back. Forcing his way up the ramp. So Pride is also going to go down. Colossus are exposed. Oh, decent Nova. Nova goes off. Vikings are getting picked off as well. Classic catching the main army. Cure, his army is split. Classic is not. Classic has everything together. Everything all at once. And we'll see if he does decide to recall. As he doesn't kill the natural. Rotating over towards the 3rd base. Likewise, 3rd base of Classic also going down. Trading a base for a base. Does trade expansions. Both armies are supply blocked. Classic is maxed. Cure is not. And Classic turns around. He turns around. He kills the natural, the 3rd, the 4th base as well. And now Classic wants the army. He wants that main army. He's searching for it. Remember, Cure's army is split. It's cut in half. And he's getting caught out. Yeah, massive catch. He wants a Metamax. He gets 1. Gets 2. Ooh, completely out a lot of stalks in the process. Nova's going up. Ooh, brutal connections. The Novas, they shut this down. And Cure, he will lose everything. Half the army falls. Now there's only half an army left. He's got 1 Metamax, a handful of Vikings. Again, Cure just getting picked apart. Now, thankfully, he did save his natural CC. Barely. Classic has a larger army, has a greater economy, more probes. Now rebuilding it, double expanding. Getting a 3rd and a 4th. So we have 6 disruptors. Jesus, 6 disruptors. And at this point, the best thing for Class to do is just defend. Just defend. Like, he has an advantage. He's as he has to clear up his bases. But he's double expanding, getting a 3rd, getting a 4th base. Cure is stuck on 2 bases. Like, Classic's advantage here is his army, and he has no reason not to max out. The best chance for Cure is maybe another base trade. So another base trade or Classic overextending. But things are looking dire here for Cure. I mean, he does have a lot of Marauders. Jesus. So he has almost as many Marauders as our Marines. Classic, he does rotate. Doesn't quite commit up the ramp. If Classic wanted to, he could just try to push into the natural and then recall if he needs to. Now they're dancing with the army. Oh. Here looking for the observer. There is none. And Classic's playing blind. Does get up the ramp. Ooh, Cure getting caught out of position. Yeah, Curie's now on the low ground. They're going to try to come in from behind. The boys are being pulled. And here come the Novas. Novas are popping off. Ooh, brutal connections. They shut down the bio. And the Colossus, they just rain down on the army. Yeah, the Marines overstimmed. And Classic, he will dominate this fight. That's all that Cure had left. Bleeding out Vikings, bleeding out Medivacs. GG gets called. And Classic fights back. Classic puts a point on the board. Whew. GG. Hi. GG. Well played. A very, very intense game here as Cure honestly had a lead. If you remember, I'm referring to the moment where Cure, he was able to get 11 probe kills and he killed the 4th. Like, Cure, he was in a really strong position, denying the economy, denying the bases. And if you remember, Cure, he was maxed out. He was up, I want to say 40 supply. And what did Classic do? Classic, he was just going for run-bys and counterattacks. We had a Zealot drop into the natural, Zealot run-by towards the third base, and Cure, he was playing scared. Like, he didn't really know what he was up against. Obviously, he didn't know how much of a lead he had, but because Cure was stuck at home and stuck trying to respond to the Zealot run-bys, it allowed Classic to recover. And Classic, he was able to rebuild his bases, rebuild his economy, and then keep up its supply. But there was a big window in time there where Classic was very vulnerable. It was very vulnerable to Cure, but Cure, he didn't take advantage of that. He was more defensive, more passive, and with that, Classic was able to recover. And then we had the base trade, of course. So we had the base trade, a bit of an awkward base trade for Cure. You know, his army was caught in half. He was caught out. Like, it was very messy. GG. GG well played. With that, we have a game 4. We have a series. We have a back and forth. Also, a big shout out to Kamikaze in the chat. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Had a great ladder session. You had a great time. Welcome, happy welcome. As we are jumping into game 4 here of our series of our best of 5. Going to be loading into Pylon. I don't like the chain theme. Ask GSL, Pappy. What are you? I'm just using what GSL has. Okay, I'm chained up, Pappy. I'm chained up. Feels GSL, man. But spawning in the top left-hand corner of a Pylon, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran leading the series 2-1, and still 1 game away from claiming the series. It is Cure. I know. It's all good. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Team Virtus Pro. It is a Classic. GSL, they just want to chain us up, Pappy. And throw away the key. Oh no. So now we are going to be settling in and calming down. And fun fact of the one standard game Classic took, right? If you recall, last game it was an economic opener out of Cure, going into a Widmine drop into Bio Tank, and Classic, he was able to thrive a little bit more there, able to punish with Zealot run-bys time and time again, cripple the economy, outposition Cure at times. Like, that was a much more comfortable game for Classic, and I wouldn't be surprised if Cure, he avoids that again. He was like, you know what? Let's not play standard. Let's like that didn't work out well. Let's just be hyper aggressive. I say that single gas opener 2 games in a row now. Okay, going for a more economic start, going for the CC on the low ground. Classic, he'll be in position to delay the command center. Okay, it's on Classic. Oh, and he will force the base to be off center, so not bad. Does force it off center, goes back in, tases away at the SEV. Hello, do you see what I see? Tech Lab. He goes Marine Tech Lab first. Are we going into Concussive Shell Marauders? Okay, I mean, this is a really good way to punish your opponent for trying to punish you. Basically what's happening here, first things first, Classic, he does spot the economic start. He knows that there's a CC on the low ground, and if you remember last game, Classic, he tried to delay that command center. So the goal here is that Cure, he knows that Classic is aware of the economic start, and the goal is to try to punish any stalkers or any adepts trying to be aggressive and trying to delay his economy. Speaking of, Stalker is fanning out, just scouting. Classic, he doesn't move out across the map. Again, Cure, he's hoping that Classic moves in. He's hoping that Classic moves out with those Stalkers. But so far, that is not happening. Classic is playing it safe. So this initial timing, it's not really worth it for Cure. He's trying to punish, but there's nothing to punish. And Classic, he moves out with the hallucination. Behind this, Twilight Council's on the way. Ooh, and that is a second Rax before Factory. This is the first sign of a 2-base all-in. Okay, hyper aggressive here from Classic. Yep, there we go. We do have a third Rax on the way. This does scream 2-base all-in. And Classic, he scouts. He's aware. He does see the lack of starports. Now, from here, Cure, the purpose of this is to go for the add-on swap into tank production to build up a really fast and really early tank count. But no, that is a Cyclone first. Okay. Hallucination runs out, and Cure, he might go for a starport here. We'll see. We'll see how it does bring this all together. Classic Jesus. Classic 2K Blink. He doesn't flinch. This is the greedy. Wait, hold on. Okay, there's a lot to get into. First things first, we're going to Pylon. Pylon is one of the more aggressive maps on the map pool. Short rush distance by ground, very direct. We see a lot of all-ins on Pylon, by the way. Like, all-ins are a lot more common on this map. Meanwhile, Classic, this entire series, he's been going for these safer builds. Last game, he went 3-gate blink because he saw the economic start. This time, 2-gate blink into a third. This is the greediest build and the greediest follow-up you can go for here for Classic. So very greedy because of this. Later gateways, later robo, later immortal production, later warp-ins as well. This is quite greedy from Classic, considering he saw the Raxes, by the way. So I'm a little bit shocked. I'm a little bit surprised, considering he saw the Raxes, considering the map as well. As Stim is on the way, Combat Shields, this is going to be a very early Stim timing for Cure. This build actually is reminding me of what happened in Game 2 on Maganatha. Remember, on Maganatha, Cure went for a 2-base all-in, and Classic got shut down. Here, I'm afraid we might see a repeat of that, with Classic even having less to defend. We'll see. But this is very similar to the build that we saw on Maganatha. I think Stim was even faster on Maganatha, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 2-base all in. Yeah, 2 more Raxes. So on Maganatha, this was different. This was a 3-1 setup on Maganatha. Here, it's going to be a 5-rack setup. Jesus. Which means Cure, he has the option to pull the boys. For now, he zones away. Charge has begun. And unlike on Maganatha, remember, there's no robo. There's no robo. That means there's no immortal production, which means tanks are going to be more difficult to deal with. Ooh, oh my god, it's brutal. Tank boys going off, does punish Classic. Very nice catch for Cure. I'm waiting for the moment. I'm waiting for the moment where he pulls the trigger. This was meant to be a 5-rack setup. He's getting up to 6 Raxes. Okay. That just doubles down even more. And here we go. Okay, a couple of boys being pulled to repair for now. Topping up his army. The tanks, they punish once again. More Stalkers going down. So far, 2 Stalkers have fallen. Every Stalker counts. And here comes Cure. He does break out. Behind this, no add-ons on the Raxes does signify all in. And the boys are being pulled. The hallucination does confirm. Classic is now aware, but remember, he saw the beginning of this earlier. And Classic, what does he have? Okay, charge is done. Okay, charge is done. Likewise, he has a couple of force fields. Tanks take siege ahead of time. The boys have arrived. Stalkers are being zoned away. Kika's Shell coming into play there. Bunkers being thrown down. Classic trying to catch reinforcements. And Classic, he does catch a couple of Marines. Barely does get the tank. Oh my god, does get it. Tank goes down. Charge will take collapse on the army. Comes in from behind, gets some of the tanks, and the tanks are going down. And it looks like Classic, he is cleaning this up. Takes out every single tank. But the Marines, though. Marines, they stim in. They stim on forward. All the tanks did fall. I mean, that was the backbone of this army. Cure, he's losing a lot of steam. He's losing a lot of momentum. And remember, no medevacs. Like, every stim counts. Like, every stim, it hurts that much more. So he has to be so careful with his stims. West pushing forward. Does stim forward. Yeah, takes down the Zealots. Kites back. Goes to the stim. The tank does kite back as well. And he takes out all the charge. Let's say the Zealots, they just melt against the army. No shield batteries. Okay. It's a bold move there by Classic. No shield battery support. Tank pops off, takes down the gateways. And the Master Marine is stimming. And he's winning. Oh. As the boys are being pulled, he takes down the tank. What about the Marines though? What about the Bio? Starter steps in. Does focus on the Stalkers. And Cure, he has barely done it. Takes down 17 probes. Still has that one reinforcing tank. Oof. Does punish. And still commits. Behind this, he only has 26 SCVs. Like, again, he was completely all in with this. Wait, do we have enough? Can we get on top of the tank? Barely not. Tank does survive. Again, Classic, he needs just a little bit more time. He needs extra warp-ins. Shield batteries on the way. The army's overstimmed. Can Classic survive? As he still needs a little bit more time. Stalkers get cleaned up. Another stim. Another stim with the Marines. Here comes the reinforcing Immortal. But there's still just so many Marines here. 25 Marines. They do start a step forward. They take down the Stalkers. They take down the Immortal as well. As well as 6 Stalkers left. Kira can just barely afford 1 extra tank each time. He's got the 1 tank. The boys that pulled for the 2nd time as well. The boys are back. Throws down the bunker. Classic once again trying to catch reinforcements. Gets a Marine. Gets a Marine. Hoping to catch a tank as well. Does force Kira back. But there's no getting on top of that tank. Does get focused down, but he does pay the price for it. So many Stalkers fall in the process. And there are just so many Marines. Jesus. They're overstimmed, but they're still up and running. Denies the warp in. Gets into the natural mineral line. The bunkers are completing. Is able to load up. Not bad. And now there's another tank once again. Tanks, they just keep on coming. The bunker's up. It's actually coming into play. Came to the production. Yeah, and Kiri's done it. He has done it. He breaks on through. Classic, he was just so greedy here as well. When it came to his scouting, when it came to his response. He saw the 3 maxes at the start of the game, and GG gets called. Cure, he will overwhelm. He will take the series 3-1, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. A very intense final game there. Cure, he does take it. He does claim the series. Again, I want to say that Classic, he did a great job when it came to the first fight. I was very impressed with Classic resetting the tank count. Remember, he killed those 3 tanks real fast. They were the first things to go down. But he couldn't deal with the mass marine. Remember, it was 6 racks, not 5, so an extra racks there for Cure, so he was able to have extra marines. He was able to, I mean, his starter stepping was insane. His trades were insane as well. It was also rough that we had a lot of Stalkers going down prematurely before the main fight began, and Cure, he barely had enough. Despite not having any medevacs, he preserved his marines nonetheless, and they could just keep on stimming and did break through. GG, well played. And you could also argue, and I would say it as well, that Classic was a little bit greedy in his defense as well, right? His shield batteries were late, they were delayed. Again, he went for a much faster third base, much greater economy. Again, he was punished for it with the all-in. Congratulations to Cure. And with that, we have our grand finals, or as we switch our teams over and catch up on the brackets, catch up on what has been going on. Whew, here we go. Hero took down Gimiho 3-1 earlier. He was able to advance on to the grand finals. Meanwhile, Classic did fall to Cure, so the TVPs do continue. Nothing but Terran, nothing but Protoss here in the top 4 of GSL, and we have Hero versus Cure in the grand finals. Let's go. We have Hero being the strongest, I would say, Protoss player in the world right now, and Cure having some of the best TVP in the world as well. Again, Cure, he had a shaky kind of early April, if you remember, when we were casting the May Mayhem. His TVP was looking shaky, but here in GSL, he is looking prepared. And again, typically relying on aggression. We saw this in the group stage as well. If you're watching Cure, you would know that in the group stage, in group stage 1, group stage 2, in Cure's TVPs, he went for non-stop 2-base all-ins. Non-stop 2-base all-ins and 2-base aggression. And fun fact, he also relied on it here as well versus Classic. We saw a 2-base all-in on Maganatha, and we saw a 2-base all-in on Pylon as well. Like Cure, he's been hyper-aggressive in this matchup, finding a lot of success. The one standard game is the one game that Classic won on Ultra Love. the one standard game is where Classic did overwhelm and did succeed and was able to take a map. But the aggression, or I should say Cure, he's just been relying a lot more on aggression, has been finding a lot of success, and with that, he brings Classic down. Now, what I will say is that now Hero and Cure, they have an interesting dynamic, because if they're both going to be hyper aggressive, we're going to have some messy games. Because I feel like Hero, he's less of a standard player than Classic is. He's less of one to build up into a standard mid game. He is one to embrace that, don't get me wrong. Like Hero, he's more than happy to embrace a mid game and embrace a late game in this matchup, but he's also quirky himself, so we'll see how they do approach each other. Gumiho was also being very active and very aggressive against Hero, but very distinctly different. Remember, Gumiho was going for 2-on-1s, he was going for mech as well. Like, Gumiho had his own style, very distinctly different to Cure, very different. So we'll see how this does turn out. For now, though, we're going to be going on a break. We're nearing the end here of the broadcast, the end of GSL Season 1. So we're going to be going on a break. We're going to be taking some time here to just get ready to take a breath, to get some snacks, get some water. I do recommend drain your disruptors, massage your marines, and hydrate all of your hydras. When we come back, we'll have the grand finals. We'll have a best of 7 between Hero and Cure. See you soon. See you soon.